Peace, peace, and welcome back to the space beyond infinity where there are no limitations. I'm the spirit guide of this realm, Mystic, and I am back with another video for my preparing my body, mind, body, and soul for creation project. Or whatever. How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing lovely. They're doing construction next door. That is just something I can't escape. So let's all deal with it, okay? It's all right. Life is life. That's how it goes. Sometimes it's a little noisy. Sometimes it's absolutely quiet. And today, it's a little noisy. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you all are doing great. I hope if you have made it to this video, you have watched the other videos in this playlist, and I hope that you have been putting into practice the few things that I have already expressed. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been doing the work, I've been doing the work and I am feeling good. I'm looking good. I have been celebrating the fact that I feel so great. I look so great. I was looking at a few pictures of me a few months ago, maybe like somewhere back in March or May, and I was so puffy. And inflamed, and now, like, I'm not. And you can see, like, I've really been taking the time to put in that work, to heal my body and heal my mind, heal my emotional space. I've really been diving deep, and I feel great, and I look great, and yeah. So today I just wanted to come and speak on my last birth, the last birth that I had with my darling, beautiful baby, Yajurda Lune. I just wanted to make a point about my experience with my last pregnancy. I was watching back the playback of my birth, which I'm probably going to just screen record it because it's posted on my Instagram, but they won't let me post it on, I actually posted it on my YouTube. It's somewhere still on my end, but I don't think anybody else can see it because it was flagged for nudity or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, did I really mess up community guidelines, or did somebody report my video because they were just that hurt in their heart about what they were saying, which is crazy. But anywho, yeah, I will find a way to repost that for my YouTube. But I just want to come and talk about my experience a little bit. I was watching the playback and I was just listening to myself. First of all, I was listening to my man and how he was talking to me and how he was so sweet and so supportive, and just in all of his expressions with me. Like, he was so gentle with me in those moments when I was so vulnerable. I was so open. I was so just in my experience, and he was speaking gently with me, and I don't want to cry, but yeah, he was so gentle. He was so supportive. He was so loving in those moments, and it was so amazing. But it just made me remember how I felt. I was remembering how I felt in my pregnancy with Yajurda. At the very beginning of my pregnancy, I had chose to separate from my partner. I had chose to separate from him, and I wanted him to leave my space. And he decided that the best thing for him to do would be to return to America. So, yeah, because I got pregnant with Yajurda while I was here, living here in Mexico. And when I decided to separate from him, his initial, response was to return to Detroit, Michigan. And so that is what he did. And stayed here and I was not in a secure space. Not, I wasn't in a house. I wasn't in a home. I was staying in these people's place of business at the time. And it took a really big toll on me because I instantly went into survival. I mean, I was already in survival mode. We were already in survival mode, but the depths of my survival mode was significantly turned up. Like once my partner left, because here we go, there's no more masculine energy present. There are no more friends. There is no one but me and my 2 children and my growing pregnant belly. And I was in a space of weakenedness because I wasn't receiving the nutrition that I needed at the time. And it was hard. It was hard. I was taking care of 2 children on my own, being pregnant in a space that wasn't secure. And I was every day in the heat of the Mexico summer sun, to go back and forth to the stores to get whatever we needed and come back and try to figure out how to cook. And the only thing I have to cook in is the air fryer. And I kind of got tired of trying to figure out how to cook, and I started ordering food. But when you order food and you only have like $5, $10 to $20 a day, it wasn't feasible, So I was really going through it for about a month and a half to 2 months. During that time, I was kind of stuck in that position, and it fluctuated. I was getting a little bit more help here and there with what I was receiving. Yeah, so I was struggling until I finally was able to climb up out of that hole, get us an apartment, and take care of us the way I needed to take care of us. But the trauma of that experience, right, that happened, I carried that. And once I moved into my new place, in my new space, I said, okay, I have the space to breathe now. I have the space to process everything that I'm going through. And I kind of was able to process and transition from that space of being in a major survival mode to having more security and fluidity in the way I could move and take care of myself and my children. But at the same time, I was still struggling with the weight of the separation from my partner. It was so hard. It was so hard because it's like, okay, I'm finally in this place, in this space. I am good. I am financially free right now. My movements are fluid. I'm able to do whatever I want to do, and I'm trying to find all of these things to make me feel better, to make me feel happy, it was hard because I was fighting to justify my choosing to stay in Mexico versus going back to America where my family was, where I can get more help, where there's more resources available for me, and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find the value in it if I don't have my partner, if I don't have the person that I chose to live this beautiful life with. Where's the value? I was struggling to find that. I was struggling so hard to find that. And so there was so much pain. There was so much, I was hurting so much. And I feel like I was finally getting into a space to where I was able to kind of start to transition out of the hurt and finding a more sense of numbing, more of a sense of, okay, the thing is I have to choose me. The thing is I have to choose my happiness, because happiness is a choice, as my father has always told me all of my life. I had to make the choice to be happy, and I have to choose, like, yo, it doesn't seem like this relationship is working out for me. It doesn't seem like this is where my focus needs to be, which is hard because, you know, you have 2 children by this person and then you're pregnant with this person's next child, and you're constantly talking to them, you know, every other day, because you have to deal with them in order to get your business handled, and, you know, so that they can still be involved in their children's lives. It was just a lot. It was so much emotional, mental, spiritual, emotional weight to carry. And like I said, I finally came to a space to where I had decided that I was going to choose me. So I started numbing myself to our relationship. I started numbing myself to him. I started putting up these blockages, putting up these walls, which at the time I needed. But ultimately, where I am right now, obviously I can see wasn't as helpful as I would have imagined it to be at the time. Because, you know, I don't want to block myself off from him ever. Like, I want to feel how I feel for him. I want to, like, I love that man more than words can even express how much I love that man. He is the completion to my creation. And that is such a major thing for me. And if you don't have that in your partner, then y'all should not be creating life together. But anywho, look, because the first step is taking care of yourself and finding that love for yourself and that happiness in yourself. And the second, like, that should lead you to that person that completes that. And in finding stability within and fluidity within your relationship, that is the, you know, beginning to have a child is the next after that. But yeah, I was so hurt, I was so torn and so damaged and weakened by the middle section of my pregnancy. And I was just trying to figure out, okay, how can I take my focus from everything else? Because not only did I lose my partner, I lost pretty much all of my friends, except for Callie. Callie has always been present, but, you know, I started realizing that I needed that isolation that I was in. I needed that isolation. I needed that time. I needed to just be on my own. So I wasn't talking to Callie as much as I probably actually needed to. You know, I was trying to be in my isolation so that I can focus on healing whatever, you know, I was trying to focus on healing my trauma that I was experiencing and had experienced. So not only was I going through the separation, the feeling abandoned. This was my first pregnancy I was ever experiencing, being alone. And that's it. No friends, no family, no partner, just me and my children. It was a lot that I was going through at that time. I was carrying major burdens. And once Booney did come back, we got put in a position where we were facing eviction. So coming up on my last week of pregnancy, I'm not even knowing if I'm going to have a home to be in to birth. I'm like, I probably going to be forced to go to a hospital to have my baby, and I don't even have the money to pay for no medical expenses, medical bills, or anything. Like, so where the fuck am I gonna have this baby? I was so hurt, I was so lost, I was so confused. In my last week of pregnancy, there was so much, and there were blockages in my chakras. There were so many blockages in my lower chakras. And this is the main thing I want to talk about. You know, going through this transitional period of birth, carrying trauma, having blockages in your chakras, and what that is like, or what that was like for me. I feel like during my labor, my last labor, I feel like I experienced more pain than what I had remembered experiencing in my first 2 labors, actually. And that was because I was carrying so much more trauma in my womb space at the time. I had no security. I was trying so hard to just embrace the freedom and the beauty of my life. And knowing that I always have the understanding that everything is going to be okay. Like, I can see it all. Like, everything's going to be perfectly fine. We're going to find where we're supposed to be. Like, the paths are present. I can see. But when you're in it, you're in it. And you have to be in it, and you have to feel it, and you have to go through it. So I was carrying so much trauma. I was carrying so much fear, and my chakras were blocked. And I remember feeling the pain, and I remember allowing myself to be present in my pain and not shrinking it and not pretending as if it wasn't a thing. Like, I remember expressing to myself, like, it does hurt, and it's okay to say that it hurts, and it's okay to acknowledge that it hurts, because it was hurting. In the video, you can hear me, like, oh, this hurts. Like, oh, that hurts. It hurts. And, you know, Umi, like, expressing to me. And this is how much I was in my trauma that I couldn't even acknowledge. Like, I could hear him, but I couldn't fully feel and acknowledge the depths of, like, how he was handling me at that time. Like, I know he was, when it was all over, I was sitting back and I was so grateful for him being present, because I'm like, wow, like, you really did what I needed. You did what I needed. You gave me everything I needed, and I didn't have to ask for it. Do y'all see how my muscles is building up? My muscles is really building up right now. But anyway, like, you really gave me everything I needed. Wow, like, I can recognize that, but, you know, watching the playback now, where I am, hearing how he spoke to me, recognizing how gentle he was. Man, I swear to God, I'm so grateful for this man. But he was just speaking to me, and he was letting me know, like, just breathe through it. When I'm letting him know, like, I'm hurting, he's like, just breathe through it, you know? Breathe through it. Don't be afraid, like, I am here. And everybody, I remember, like, when we finally posted our birth video, and everybody, like, yo, like, this was so beautiful. It's amazing how y'all could come together and, like, support each other in these moments. Y'all teamwork was so great and blah, and I remember not being able to embrace that or accept that because I'm just like, but we're not together. So why does that matter? Yeah. I love him. My love for him goes beyond anything. Like, get you a partner that can be your partner even when you're not trying to be his partner. Like, somebody who could show up for you no matter how angry, no matter how upset, no matter how whatever. Somebody who can show up for you and still be gentle and still show that love and still show how much they care in their actions. Like, I'm on the verge of tears, but I'm trying to like find that person, because if you don't have that person, it's not fucking worth it. None of this is worth it. None of this is worth it if you don't have that person, if you don't have that partner. None of this is worth it. Okay? None of it. I do not advise this journey for anyone who does not have that. If you don't have that, then you are not supposed to be here. I'm just saying. But I mean, I'm not gonna say you're not supposed to be here, because every circumstance is how it is, you know. Like, I'm not gonna say you're not supposed to be here, because if you got pregnant and you don't have that, but you need this, welcome. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but I just don't feel like I don't wish that on anyone. I don't wish that on anyone. I wish that everyone who is able to be present here has that. Because that is so important. It is so important. Pregnancy is not a process any woman should be going through alone, ever. Having that partner to create life with is just as important as making sure you're getting all of the nutrients that you need. It's just as important as making sure your body is physically ready. It's just as important as making sure your mental and your spiritual is in alignment. I don't feel like your mental and your spiritual can truly be in alignment to have a fluid, beautiful fluid, like your wildest dreams, like that experience. I don't believe you can have that without having that with a partnership. Like, this is what I do this for. But anywho, yeah. I definitely attribute the pain and the difficulty that I feel like I experienced, even though bro, that was easy. I did it like a champ. That was very smooth, very easy. My labor was only 5-6 hours, okay? And it probably could have been shorter if I wouldn't have took that nap on the couch. If I would have just got up and sat back on my ball, probably would have went even faster. I probably could have saved me an hour or two, okay? If I wouldn't have fell asleep on that couch. But listen, please be present with what I'm presenting, because y'all, even though I'm expressing I was feeling all of this, and I know that this trauma was in my being, and I know that I was facing that. During this labor, I had to face all of my trauma, all of my pain head on. During my labor, I had to face my trauma and my pain and my fear. I had to face all of that head on during my labor. Even though I had to face all of that during my labor, I still was able to find the comfortability, like, to fall asleep on the couch. So take heed to what I'm talking about, because even with everything I was going through, I still found a way to take a nap in the heat of my, like, when I got up off of the couch, my water broke. It was pretty much time to push. So in the peak of my labor, I was taking a nap. So what I'm presenting to y'all is no joke. This is no joke here. This is real. Please take heed to what I'm saying. I was going through everything I was going through and still found a way to, at the peak of my labor, take a nap. I'm goated around this bitch. Anyway, around these parts. Anywho, yeah. So, point. It is so important to handle and deal with your trauma before you go into labor. Because if you don't, you have to face all of that head on right then and there. You have to face all of that head on during your labor, and you have to birth that out of you into the world with your child. And your child has to go through all of that with you and has to be birthed through all of that. And so what are you birthing? What are you birthing? So important to deal with your traumas. It's so important to deal with what you have stored up in your womb and in your lower chakras. And I tried, and I did pretty damn good. But this time around, I have the opportunity to face all of that, to heal from all of that, and man, I'm in such a beautiful space, and I'm so excited to be reunited with my partner, and go forward in this journey together to creating a new life. And real love with a person goes beyond all of these experiences, y'all. That is what I'm saying. Real love with a person goes beyond all of your traumatic experiences. That's true marriage. That's a true marriage experience. Being able to face all of that trauma together and still do it together. We were in such a broken space and place as far as our connection and our relationship at that time. And he still was able to show up for me. And he still was able to be gentle with me. And he still was able to pour all that love into me. I swear I'm so grateful for the person that chose me. Anyhow, I have been definitely making it a note to work through all of my traumas and heal all of that. All of that. Look, in these past few months, and that is what was made me able to realize, okay, I'm still having walls up that need to come down, because this is where I want to be. This is where I always wanted to be. I never wanted to be anywhere else except for on the other side of this wall that I put up all the way back then. These walls have to come down. I deserve to feel this love. I deserve to feel this love. I deserve to be in this love. I deserve to have this. And it was me facing all of my trauma. All of the trauma that I feel like I went through in that pregnancy and in the pregnancies previous to it. Like my previous pregnancies had nothing as far as trauma. Like it had nothing on what I experienced in my last pregnancy. That was a very tough time for me. That was the first time ever in my life I ever been that kind of alone and on my own, ever. And I put myself through that during pregnancy. But it all was meant to be what it was because it made me who I am. So I'm grateful. And it made me so much stronger. And it made my relationship so much stronger. My relationship with myself, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my man. And since we've been through all of that, we fucking deserve what we are receiving right now. We deserve it. We've done the work. Now it's time to receive, baby. Y'all watch me receive. But you deal with those traumas. And if you can deal with it before you go forward on your journey of receiving your next child, do that. It is so important. But if you need to do it while you are pregnant, then do that before you go into labor. Dealing with that trauma, with your pain, with everything that you are holding in your womb space and in your lower chakras is so important. Deal with that because that will put you, when you are in harmony in those areas, your labor process is so much more smoother, so much more you're able to be comfortable. You could probably sleep through the whole thing and not just part of it. But it won't hurt as much. That pain is a derivative. It's a reflection of the trauma and the fear that you are carrying. Your amount of pain that you are experiencing is a derivative, a reflection of the trauma that you are carrying in your chakras, in your womb. Heal it, deal with it, balance it, and do it alone. Do it with your partner. Heal from that, and I promise you, your process will be so much more beautiful, wonderful, magical, and amazing. So I'm gonna leave this here. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up with a sacral chakra tuning session. Let's do it. Life is such a beautiful thing. Enjoy it. Allow yourself to enjoy it. Allow yourself to feel the love that you deserve. Pregnancy, birth, recovery, all of that should be such a beautiful process. And I wish that onto you all. Have a beautiful, wonderful, magical, and amazing experience.